What is forgotten? What is lost? What must be recovered? Are the main topics of everything I try to explore throughout the books, throughout the journals, the memories, the friendships, everything. That is like the main component of all of it. So when it comes to asking questions about what is inside, what is eternal, what is familial, the question always comes to what is forgotten and what is lost. Something deeper than a sub-level, oh, I just haven't said something in a long time. I haven't seen these people in a while. What is ancestrally lost in our daily eternal struggles? That's kind of the key. Well, that is the key to unlocking the next part of the book. Because we know right now that Eris himself needs to find the answers. There'll be no more hand-holding. There'll be no more telling him where to go. It is up to him to decide which way to go next. That is where we lay before the great journey ahead, which interestingly mirrors my own experience. All the memories, all the legends, and all the stories from the past all come to this moment where now I must choose which way to go. And to solve that problem, a lot of the times I go back to the old journals. I go back to the old stories and everything I've discovered along the way, and I compare them and I contrast them and I judge them and I read them and feel them. Just where does the truth lie? Because I think at the end of the day, the deepest part of myself, I feel like, is where the truth is hiding. Like there's a part of myself deep down that knows the answers. Is that merely me speaking to the God within me? The unity consciousness that he lives through? Is that me finding true ego and true self and discerning my own life? Or is it something much deeper? I think that's where we lie right now, is we're at a crossroads of the great, great unknown. One in which I do not know the answer to. I know the story. I know the plot. But I don't know my part in it. I look at my entire life that is built up to this moment, of all the people that I've met, and all the things that they've taught me, and all the things that I've gathered along the way, and the things I've noticed, and the mindset that I've formed, and the ideas that I've created. Everything lay behind me. And for years I've been frantically circling and circling and circling and circling inside of all of those things. Maybe I'll find meaning in the relationships that I've found. Maybe I'll find meaning in the marriage that I'm about to take part in. Maybe I'll find meaning in all the old writings that I've discovered and all the old thoughts that I've had. Maybe I'll find meaning in my whole life up to this point. What has it led me to? That's where I sit right now, in wonder. Just what was it all for? How has it caused me to be alone on the precipice of my own next part of the journey? Who have I become to this point? And what is the story that lie ahead? I think looking back at the written work of Eris and how it mirrors so much of my own real life and just everything that I've accomplished along the way. I think the scariest thing is what to do next. Okay, you have all this information. You have all these words. You have all these memories and thoughts and feelings and experiences. They're all behind you now. Where do you go next? Everything that you've known, everything that you've done, was merely what someone else had taught you. Where do you take that information next? That's a journey that I don't even know. I sit here now and I feel just as blank as I did the day before. How do you know when to take step? How do you know when to plunge yourself into the great unknown? How do you know when to take the adventure, to embark? Because all behind you felt like an adventure up to this point. And getting here in and of itself was an adventure. Now what? I think the greatest adventure is one that you carve yourself. And for the longest time, I think in the past, I allowed myself to be at the whim of another. Though that was an adventure in and of itself, one that I took part in and one that I agreed to, it seemed that the destiny or the horizon that we went to was always someone else's vision. But now that I've completed half this circle of the adventure, half the circle of the hero's journey, standing before the rebirth of everything that I've ever known, it's like taking a plunge into the darkness. It's going into the belly of the beast. And I'll be honest, the past few hours, I've been feeling deathly ill, just thinking about all this. Like some sort of evil darkness inside of me does not want to leave. And I so badly wish to expel it. It fights so hard to stay and to tell me it's okay and to tell me that it's fine. That whisper, that promise, that fear so badly wants to stay inside and so badly holds me back. But I have to jump outside of it. And there are no tools besides the ones that I've gathered along the way that can help me. The only things that could guide me are the things that I've learned from the other people that surrounded me. And to learn from the others within the objects that they carry in their hands, how they're able to quell their own spirits, how they're able to hear themselves and move forward. This transitional period has to be personally one of the most difficult things I have ever done. Something that makes me question myself so deeply. Something that makes me look internally so hard and to find answers so profound. The rule books are gone. It's merely just me and myself trying so desperately to find that thing that comes next. And then I'll sit and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and everything and everyone pass me by. And I find myself once again alone in this office pondering who I am, where I'm going next. For the longest time, I didn't even know I had control over that. I thought I was always at the whim of everything around me and everyone. That victim mentality. It wasn't me that made that choice. It was them. I merely was there from happenstance or, victim of circumstance either. That was all I ever felt in the darkness of my own thoughts. And though I felt like these people around me, my greatest friends and my allies and the people that looked out for me the most, I thought, yes, they do want to help me, so they must have the key themselves. They have the tools. They'll be able to. They'll have to. They've got no other choice. Sometimes when you look and you see that you have a destiny with another person or a group of people, you all have common interests, you all have a common bond, you all have something that binds you together. You start to think your journey will always be together forever. But in the real case, eventually you have to flock apart to find the true source of what your story really is. And that's where I stand right now, right on the edge of it. In my mind, I just imagine standing on the top of this cliff and looking out at this giant expanse of valley that's shrouded in darkness and twisted trees and an impenetrable fog. Yet way out in the distance are these ruins. And in those ruins, I know I have to go. And that's exactly where Eris is in his story. I didn't want to admit it for a long time, but I realized that I am the very thing. The story of Eris is the story of me. It's been so much retrospective thought lately. And I've been reading work from other people. I've been reading people's memoirs. And they're so of themselves, of their own journey, of the world around them, not an ounce shrouded in fantasy. And then I look at my work, and my work is just wrapped in it. I never went out and lived that life physically and visited those places physically. I did it mentally, in my own mind. I delved into the deepest parts of these ruins for so many years. I searched in vain for answers. And upon the bricks that have fallen many years ago, there's many things that I've always tried to search out. And I disdain the idea of leaving the home. And I disdain the idea of having to find the answers out in the world. Because I always thought, no, they can't be. They have to be inside. They have to be inside of me. I never really knew there was any other alternative. And so now I think about it like that, and I see Eris's journey as my own. How could it have been otherwise? How could it have been anything else? How could the story of Eris ever mirror anything, if not my own story? You know how many years it took me to realize that? Why I wandered aimlessly in the desert for so long, like Eris did? Because I didn't even know it was me. I didn't even know I was taking part in this. I thought I was just sitting down and making fun and making something up and saying, oh, wouldn't it be cute and clever if this, and wouldn't this be great? And isn't this special? Look how cool that is. This is called lore. This is fun. Here's history. Here's mythology. And all the while, I've been neglecting my own story. Because of this, I've been sitting, doing nothing. Just as Eris is. He became me so much that when I wasn't writing, I wasn't doing anything. The only way I can go forward is if I sit down and write. When I'm not doing it, I feel like I'm just sitting there. Like I'm doing nothing. I know they say take a break, but I just feel like I'm going in circles. Time after time. I'm doing the same old shit. Just going to some fucking job. Doing all that bullshit for 8 hours. Coming home. Trying to just be okay and relax and connect with myself again. Having an impossible time going to fucking sleep. Waking up feeling like fucking shit. Going back to that goddamn place just to do it all over again. And then I have those 2 days off in a row. Oh man, I look forward to it. But every time those days off come, I just feel guilty because I don't know what to do during them. And I sit there alone in thought. And I just feel like it's just a perpetual fucking circle that I'm stuck in. I don't even know who I am half the time. I look so hard and so deep, and I look with vigor. And I search as deep as I can. I feel like I surround myself with everything I really care about. Everything I like, everything I love. Everything that means something to me. But I still feel the same question. Who the fuck am I? And what am I doing? How deep does that hole go? Why do I search so hard? I feel like I'll never get the answer to that. And so I look around me at the people I care about and the people I love, and I discern to myself, well, that must be it. You are they are you. Together, you guys will all accomplish whatever is divinely placed in front of you. But I don't know what my part is in that. I can accept the fact that everyone that is in my life is there for a reason. I can accept the fact that they all have their own purpose to themselves, to God, and to me. But I don't know what the fuck my part is. Like, I understand. If you listen to this, it sounds like someone who's very lost, and I would agree to that. I do feel lost a lot. I do feel stuck in the woods of my mind, in the deep forest, trying to search for light. Every time there's a glimmer of it, every time there's a moment where I'm just like, there it is, there's the light. I chase it, and it always leads to another dead end. I don't know exactly what I can do. All this chasing, all this searching, all this trying to find who I am and what I am, sometimes it can just be so tiresome. It can make you so weary. When all I ever do is look around me and see people that are happy with the smallest of things. People that don't question themselves. People that don't question the world around them. People that don't question their own feelings. They just merely feel what they're told and when they're told to. And they take part. And I just see that as a lesser way to live. Just become your job, or just find a really good job you'll love. Then you'll just work for you and never feel like you work a day in your life. And then you just, pay your taxes, get yourself a house, get yourself that car you want, have kids. You'll find happiness there. Because when you get old, you'll look out and you'll see that the whole time the happiness was the life you lived and you missed it. Some shit like that. And I don't even know anymore what's right or what's wrong. My own life is the mirror in which I look through. And back at me may be the same things I think, see, feel, and can touch. But I don't know. Sometimes I wonder just what it is I'm looking at. In your home, you place objects that have meaning to you. At least you're supposed to. And you have objects all around you that have some sort of significance. It doesn't matter. It could be the furniture you're sitting on. It could be the pictures on your wall or the ornaments or, God knows, the record player with all the records in the corner. I have those too. And sometimes I look at them and think, is that it? Is that how I really feel about it? Do those have meaning to me? Or do I them? Are they a part of me or am I a part of them? And what I'm doing, I should say. Is that me doing it or it doing me? Am I living this cycle to find self, this endless infinity to which there is no end? Or is this just a stage, a tier, a realm? I know for a fact that there's a fractal nature to this life. So that part that where I think, well, it's just a realm and this is just a place, and then from here we go to the next, and then there's a whole set of things going on there. It's easy to think that because it makes sense in this place, but God knows what's beyond. The biggest thing in this world is death. It's the hardest thing we'll ever discover. And it takes leaving here to discover it. That's insane to me. A lot of people build their entire life up to that point, dying. Or they think they don't, and they build their whole life up to not dying. But in reality, you're dying all the more. Trying to live longer means you think about death just as much. It's like someone claiming to be atheist. I just think an atheist is the person who struggles with God the most. I don't think that means you don't believe in him. I think it means you do. You just don't want to. That's where I just don't know what to do. And I just sit and I really, really want to figure it out. I mean, believe me, I'm tired of being just deathly ill from these thoughts. I'm tired of sitting and just being uncomfortable, just sitting in my own skin. I'm tired of not knowing what I want to do, and I'm so sick of doing the same thing over and over again. I think finding a way out of that is one of the hardest things I've ever taken part in. I don't know what I can say. If there's any consolation, I hope there's an answer that awaits me soon. Something that I will, with vying eyes, be searching for.